Smooth Productions.
As most know by now, President Donald Trump was inaugurated this Friday, and about 250,000 people are estimated to have gathered to watch it live, and about a million or so are said to have been in Washington, D.C. for the inauguration itself. But then this Saturday as well, the day after inauguration, the Women's March in D.C. occurred, which is said to have completely eclipsed the numbers of the inauguration itself. And around 500,000 are estimated by most major outlets to be the attendance for the Women's March. I have contacts that were there, and pictures, overhead pictures show, and the Metro information also says that that number is extremely conservative. It's more likely that around at least 800,000 were in attendance for the Women's March in D.C. alone, and these marches happen all around the country, all around the world. I mean, the Women's March was a very large demonstration that seemingly captured the thoughts and minds of millions of people around the world. And I was hired by a website to do some analysis on it, and I actually just posted that article on Huffington Post, on my Huffington Post account, as well. So it will be linked underneath this video, so you can take a chance to read that. And I just wanted to look at some numbers of just some of the numbers of attendance that were around the world. In London, for example, was supposed to be estimated 100,000. In New York, was supposed to be 100,000. L.A. Los Angeles, 750,000 attendance at the Women's March. Chicago, around 250,000. And D.C. itself, as I mentioned, there was it's estimated still 500,000, but it seems to be 800,000 would be just a better estimate how many people attended. And what this definitely says that the Women's March was basically a combination of for people who are concerned with women's rights, who are concerned with the civil rights, the rights of the LGBT community, just the civil rights. Is all these rights that people are worried about being taken away or hampered upon, especially ones about birth control and abortion rights as well. And all of these people came together to demonstrate on Saturday. And on Friday, at the inauguration itself, there were anarchists who did participate in some violence and breaking of glass windows and whatnot around D.C. But on Saturday, I haven't found very many or any circumstances of where there was violence within D.C. with the Women's March or any of the women's marches that were like every state has reported that there was some form of a demonstration associated with the Women's March. So it is something that definitely raises eyebrows, and it does as widely known. I spent time at Standing Rock and reported from there, and it seems like that really was the starting point for demonstrations and people standing up for things they believe in, and because this is a huge outturn of people around the country. Millions of people around the country came out on a Saturday to basically stand up for the rights and show their concerns with the incoming administration, and saying that they will be paying attention when these certain policy ideas or bills are brought up in Congress or executive orders are signed by President Donald Trump. So it's definitely going to be very interesting to see what happens and report on what happens in the near future. And I definitely will be paying close attention, because these numbers far eclipsed what anyone was expecting. Even the Women's March itself in D.C., I believe the last number they had expecting to show was around 411,000, and that number was greatly eclipsed. As if you look at the pictures and see, like it was from the reports I was told by individuals on the ground that I spoke to, is that it was almost impossible to even move. That's how crowded the streets were. And reports from Chicago are the same. Streets were so crowded, basically canceled the march portion and just only had the rally. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, and if people stay engaged and how engaged they will be, and what measures they will go to push back against policies they do not agree with, because it's clear that people were raising their concerns and exercising their First Amendment rights, and we all have the right to assembly and right to protest. So again, I will be watching closely, and as always, I hope everyone remembers to stay smooth.